There is a doll that is rather special. And so far I never knew what to do with her. I had 2 of her so far and I sanded everything down to remove the drips, and yeah, the hot pink was always a bit too hot for me. And it still is, but I now have an idea for her. And I did buy a new one. Because the one I already had didn't have the drips anymore. So I bought this one. Obviously she is used, but it is kind of hilarious for me that I removed her stuff, or her droopy stuff, twice, and now I want it. The theme for her will be ice cream. When I first had the idea, I did some Google research, and funny enough, it looks like no one has done a ice cream Gooliope so far. So, at least I was not able to find anyone. If you know someone, let me know about that, because I really would like to see other interpretations of an ice cream Gooliope. My plan is that her main body, or her body, will be made out of strawberry or cherry ice cream. Her head will have 3 colors. The first, or 4, not 3. The first one is, I think it's Neapolitana, where you have the combination of strawberry, chocolate and vanilla. And, oh, not the ear. So one side will be Neapolitan and the other side will be mint chocolate chips. That was my idea. And I will give her a lot of, yeah, toppings and everything. I have already some, I bought some of these deco cream things to, yeah, make her as appetizing as possible. But the first thing is obviously to cut the hair very short. And then I am going to boil some water and put this poor thing into it so her head softens up. And I might be able to first of all decapitate her, and second of all get the hair plugs out. When it was kind of a trend to repaint a Gooliope, everyone was complaining about how difficult it is to get off the head and to do a reroot on her. So we will see about that. The reroot is done, and I might already have a name for her. I think the name Angelata la Crema would be quite nice for an ice cream doll. Why do I have this thing in my hand now? Because I want to squeeze in as much glue as possible in here and then try to suck it out again. Because normally I leave the amount of glue in there and it most of the time starts to leak out somewhere. And to prevent this from happening, I want to squeeze in as much as I am able to get in there, swish it around, and then hopefully get most of it out again, so that it's just a nice coating all around and we don't have too much in there that is left. There isn't that much that is coming out. Then let's do this different. This way it seeps down into the neck area or head area. and the scalp area shouldn't be affected in case this is too much. And we just have a bit more support for the neck. And I put this in so if there is some leakage, it won't go into the hair. But let's say goodbye to her for the moment. If I think about something, I want to do it now. And it isn't the wisest decision to film with this camera while I don't have a real mounting stuff. Actually, it's now fastened to the shelf above me with one of those flexible mini tripods with bendy legs. I hope this will work. Yeah, because I am far too impatient to wait. Today I want to do some resin stuff. I have no idea in which video this will be included, but that's why we have our bare, dirty desk. Our work for today. These are molds for an upcoming project. Highly possible the project I'm working on right now when you watch this video. Then I can prepare him, because I just need a drop of resin in here to put the metal thing in, to then in the next step, when that is hardened, put the leg together. I have no idea if that will work. I want to try it. But I have the feeling that the leg does not move. It is stuck. I tried to clean this a little bit and yeah, open it, but it does not move at all. These are dollhouse miniatures. We have drinking glasses and containers. I want to see if the lids do fit on the drinking glass as well. First, resin. So, pick. Normally, you should wear gloves. But I hate gloves. And I hate myself, so that works together very well. It's now 84 hours. Let's start with these. Oh my gosh, they turned out brilliant. Those are perfect. Let's go in for the strawberries. The unexciting stuff. Cream puffs. Another piece of cream. Whoa. A jumpy piece of cream. Then the raspberries, where I am quite sure those are far too very early raspberries, maybe. Blueberries. I really want to unmold the glass now. What I can see looks nice, but getting it out, oh gosh, there it is. Oh, and it's beautiful. I have to zoom you in a minute. The struggle is real again. Come out, come out, yes. Seal is broken. I saw air getting in there. Those worked far better than I thought they will. This is one of the jars. The orange one, obviously. Oh, there is still something I need to cut off. But that is so cute. That is the red jar. And this one is the drinking cup. Can you see how pretty that frickin' thing is? With lemon slices on it and everything. I really want to do a whole set for the dolls. It's not as if I really do something with it, but I want to. Then I started the repaint portion, and because I wanted her body to be a little bit lighter, I mixed up some acrylic paint that I then put on her with a sponge on her body and on her face. I had a lighter one and a darker one because I wanted the drips to look a little bit darker, as if they would melt and be more liquid. Then after the face was painted as well, I started the repaint. First with acrylics, then with all the shenanigans we know. And the further I went, the more excited I was, and the more I enjoyed how she looked. I really, really liked the repaint. As you might already notice from how I phrased this, the disaster was nearing. Gosh, I was so disappointed. I tried to heat her head up with a hair dryer as much as possible, because I already knew that there was a chance that when I put her back onto her body, or the head back onto her body, that the paint might chip. Yeah. Nice that I knew it, nice that I tried it. It did happen anyway. And even though I was very, very sad, the only thing I could do was start again. So I removed everything, but this time I left the head on the body while doing the repaint. I didn't want to do all of this again, because unsurprisingly the paint had dried by this point. I now had to rely on our old friends soft pastels and watercolor pencils alone, because I was sure, not sheer, I would never be able to mix up the same color once again. So I decided, just try it this way and try to get as close as possible. I gave up at this point on getting the skin tones exactly right. I think in the end I was able to match it okay. It is not a 100% perfect match, but it works, and because of her body having two colors anyway, I think I achieved the goal of more or less repairing her. I noticed once again that the pan pastels are far stronger than the cheap soft pastels that I bought ages ago. The coverage with them was far better, so I had to put in more of the cheap pink to get at least a slightly similar face color. But after all, I think the repaint worked quite nicely. I really loved the end result, and even though I did really like the first face up, I think the second one was nicer because she had not as thick eyebrows, and I tried to give her a little smile, which was fairly difficult with the mold, because I don't know if Gooliope was supposed to look scared or sad or whatever, but giving her a smile was surprisingly difficult. I think you can only see it when you look at her straight on or slightly from below. And then you can notice that our little girl is indeed slightly smiling. Yeah, but as I said, after everything was glued in place and glazed in place and done again, I was fairly happy with how she turned out. And just for you to see a comparison how the two different face-ups looked. Right now I'm working on the skirt, which is supposed to look like a scoop of stracciatella ice cream. I now have the cover on top, and this will be get embroidered, with brown beads to resemble the chocolate pieces. I made the base out of craft foam and then glued it together, and now starting to cover it with some fabric that I just gathered on the top and the bottom. So, as I said, that will be get embroidered, but the skirt is supposed to resemble a stracciatella scoop with chocolate sauce and strawberry cream with some fruits and sprinkles. So, in the next step, I want to try to create the chocolate sauce. Because of what I have as piping and everything as cream is this deco cream. I don't have something dark enough to resemble chocolate sauce. My idea now is, out of craft foam, we create a top layer for this one, for this scoop, that then gets cut into drips and everything, and then I thicken it with hot glue, painted brown, and just put it as a layer on top of the scoop. Not sure if it will work, because I might have to sew it down still, but I might be able to sew it down at certain points and cover that up with the cream later. We will see. For the moment, I will now cut at least the top of this shape out, draw on a design with drips, and yeah, then glue that together, put it on there, and we will see where we will go from there. Yeah, just so you know. While I'm making Angelata's shoes in the background, I wanted to talk with you about the design of her clothes themselves. As you are able to see from the sketch that is on screen right now, I initially planned for her shoes to have different heights, because it looked as if she had one foot in a plaster cast in the end. I decided against that and had to cut down the one that is covered in the waffle fabric. And while we are on the topic of waffle fabric, I now can talk about that. Back when I designed her, which was in May last year, when I was in England visiting Rainbow Fine Arts. Yay. I already thought about using a fabric like that, because back when I was trained as a weaver, I had to weave something with this specific pattern. It's really in the weave and not in the anything else. It's how you weave it that gives it this texture, and I thought that was perfect for our little ice cream girl. As you obviously can already notice, I changed around some of the colors. The mint skirt is now stracciatella, and the blouse, she now has a turquoise bodice and pink puff sleeves, so you have strawberry and mint again. That's what I wanted to say. Her corset was basically made the same way I am now making the shoes, by just wrapping the fabric around a piece of craft foam and then putting on some hot glue, painting that, and acting as if it was chocolate sauce, or the waffle was chocolate dipped. But I did have to change some things as well, just because it didn't work. For example, you see the cream on her skirt cover thingamajig. It goes up slightly, like a planned decoration thing that wasn't possible in the end. So I had to just slap it on somehow. So her costume does surprisingly look quite a lot like the sketch, I think. But most of it was by accident, because I wasn't able how to do it otherwise. But yeah, I really like where we ended up with her costume. You will see that in a minute. But first, let's talk over the next worst thing, which was the repaint. After struggling with the face up for quite some time, it was then finally time to struggle with the hair. I had this up-to 50s kind of cream-esque idea in mind. And yeah, I left her wrapped in her fabric and taped her to a piece of wood, and then I did my best to achieve the goal of getting this vintage-esque hairstyle, which was quite difficult. I have to admit, it was far easier than it was with the 1 to 6 scale dolls, but still, it's synthetic hair, it's far too much hair. I wasn't able to really get it into rollers first, and at this point I was fed up with her as well. I have to admit that. But, you know, when I compare doing doll hair with doing human hair, and I did hairstyles like that when I was in training, not on a real human, but on one of those mannequin hats with human hair. And I loved it. I had so much fun with doing these fancy updos that were basically not very possible to wear, because even if you would pin them, they would fall apart quite quick. With her, or with dolls in general, I always thought it would be far easier, but because they are so small, yeah, it is a challenge always to do doll hair for me. I don't know why. Even though I'm a hairdresser, I am not able to get this done really well. So, in the end, I had to cut away stuff and just improvise. You couldn't be able, or you wouldn't be able to open the hair again, so I glued everything in place, hairsprayed everything in place. At one point I decided I will put down fruits on the top of the hair anyway, so just get it done and cover up your mistakes with fruits and deco cream. And I have to say, I am quite happy about the result I was able to achieve. I think it does look okay on its own. It could be a little bit neater. But yeah, as I said, with the fruits in there, you don't see most of it, and I think her hairstyle turned out quite cool. I am happy with her. I am happy with how that turned out, because I was struggling quite a lot. Surprise! I am always doing that. And then, after everything, it was time to put her into her costume to prepare her for the last step, which was the deco cream. But because I didn't want to waste a bunch of deco cream, I had to prepare something first, and yeah, I prepared it already during doing her, so... But I will put the footage of what I did in now. For Angelata, I have some deco cream. Because I'm only using some of the deco cream, I thought maybe I can do something to use up the rest of the deco cream. And then I had ordered this mold, which I thought was adorable, because the result is this little pot with a lid. And I thought, great, you still have some of the resin that is for the thicker things. Make 3, 1 in mint, 1 in pink, 1 in white, and then chocolate on the sides here, and the lid will be covered with the deco cream. So you can use it up and have Angelata themed bowls. So I went out, made the first one, and then I noticed, it uses up quite a lot of resin. So now I have 1, but can't make any more. That leads us to now doing 3 new ones with plaster. I left them off to the side to dry for quite some time. I think it was 2 weeks or something. Normally plaster can be demolded after an hour roughly, and is paintable after more or less a week, because it has to dry completely through. Anyway, after that was all done and looking halfway decent, I might have done the plaster a little bit too liquidy, so we had some rough spots, but I thought ice cream scoops didn't look completely smooth anyway, so why bother? Then I painted them while I did the whole Angelata thing, and while I used the deco cream on her, I then did the lids on the same at the same time. By that point, the lids had been not only painted, or the pots had not only been painted, but varnished as well. And with the deco cream, I then could put on the rest of my fruits that I had from this project, and I have to say I'm really happy that I made these 3 little pots, because the combination looks so cute, so adorable. And I already gifted her away to a friend, and she was so happy about her. I know it's maybe a bit cheesy or a bit strange, but she is an ice cream doll, and the friend I gifted her to is Italian, and she's okay with this kind of cheesy and maybe a bit thought in boxes. But yeah, she enjoyed it, enjoyed her, and she's now presented in her flat. And yeah, with her 3 pots around her. I am fairly happy about how she turned out in the end. But without further ado, let's take a look at the end results. I hope you did enjoy this process, even though it took a little bit longer to finish her, and the video is a longer one. And yeah, I hope you like her, and let me know what you think about her in the comments down below. Until then, bye!